Greetings. So back to the story of my childhood. Um, so there I was, fresh off of my parents' divorce, thinking I was liberated from the beatings, and a father that was so strict and stern, um, and I was truly afraid of. Um, so I thought I was free. My behavior spiraled out of control. I got kicked out of the private school in order to graduate to the fifth grade. That was the deal they made with me, was that I could not no longer go to school there. So I was uh, cast aside to public school. In public school, my friends were there. I love sports. I was very fast. I was super thin, extremely athletic. I played football. I love Pee Wee football. Um, uh, Very tall for my age. Um, but what ended up happening was uh, my behavior was out of control. Uh, I On one of my birthdays, I don't know how this worked out, but before, when I was in, I believe I was in fifth grade. Um, uh, I would go to TGMY. I would ride my $250 MT Trick Fox with my buddies up to the TGMY, and I would steal, shoplift, Hot Wheels or GI Joes, anything that I could shove down my pants. And I did this on my sister's birthday party that they were going to have at one of the attempts I did. Well, the time I got caught was the day of my sister's birthday party, um, and it was terrible. Me and two other kids got caught, and they didn't call the cops. Back then they called your parents, and man, my mother was livid. She was beating on me, and again, deservedly so. Very well, yeah, because it was so embarrassing. And then I was out of control, and then she also had the party that she was trying to manage with a bunch of um, high school kids coming to our house because that's what my sister wanted. And I was in so much trouble. Oh, I was in so much trouble. I don't believe my mother told my father, because I think my father would have just killed me straight out. Because he would still come, try to be part of my life on the weekends, even though he never saw me play sports. It was just basically to clean and beat me, in my eyes. Uh, but what ended up happening was I would do just enough to get by each grade. And then one summer, I believe it was my sixth grade summer, my mother had had enough, and she sent me to Orlando to live with my father for the summer. My father had his own landscaping business, and we would work from the time the sun came up until the time the sun started to go down in Orlando, all day cutting grass, raking leaves, picking weeds out of people's gardens, and this was my punishment for being so bad. Was just manual forced labor, and there was no getting out of this. It was going to be do this or face a whipping like you never faced every day until you complied. And I hated it. I hated every second of it. I came back and I was still a goofball. I was just so excited to be away from him, and away from that oppressive heat and the stench in the ghetto, because he lived right behind the ghetto. Everything was so embarrassing and so out of my comfort zone. But you would have thought I would have learned, but I did not. I got back, and again in 7th grade, again just barely etching by, and I had to go back again. But then I got a reprieve. I could only go back for a little bit, and I went to go back again for the 7th to 8th grade summer, and I couldn't because I had to go to summer school for the first time. And we lived in a middle-class neighborhood in Pensacola, and I remember getting on the bus for the first time. I looked like Carlton. Nice button-down, white and pink, vertical striped shirt, pair of khakis, and deck shoes. I was ready to go tackle summer school. And I got on the bus, my head hit the top of the bus, and it was like I walked into a bar back in the Old West dressed as a penguin. Everyone stopped and looked up at me. And I looked back at them, and I was on the bus with a bunch of kids that should have been there. And I was one of those kids that should have been there. But I did not look like them. I did not act like them. I did not sound like them. I was no better than them. I still am no better than anyone else. And I thought to myself, I don't want to be perceived this way. I don't want to be this. So I have to make an immediate change. And dear God, I was made fun of. Preppy, Uncle Tom, coon, yada, yada. You act so white, you speak white, all this stuff over and over again. And lo and behold, I made the best grades of my life. I was going to show them that I could do it. Graduated with flying colors. And even in categories of math and science where I was weak, I learned and I excelled. Couldn't believe it. Told my mom I'm reformed, I'm good. Started the 8th grade year off and replaced all of my bad habits with sports. I swam, I ran track, I did football and basketball. Only person in the whole school that did all of those things. And I had a wonderful time doing it. I changed completely. I got a spot as a guidance counselor's assistant or guidance office assistant. So I would go to the other in middle school, because middle school and then was 6th grade through 8th grade. And I would go to the other classes and pull kids out and do whatever filing, et cetera, that they needed me to do as a student. And I loved it. I loved the responsibility. I loved being good. The intention of being good was vastly different from the intention of being bad. Got great grades, got accolades, positive things said from the teachers. It was insane. Pictures in the yearbook. It was beautiful. My life completely changed. And then from that point on, I was like, I don't need to be in trouble anymore. I don't need to go to my father's anymore. And I truly started to embrace this thing of, I don't want to live the way I was going, because I was just going to end up in jail for stupid stuff. Turned more to sports, in the physicality of high school. My sister was preparing to graduate and go to college. She got a full scholarship to go to the University of Florida to play volleyball. She took me. I got to meet Emmitt Smith, go to this wild party, meet guys on the basketball team. She was always pushing me to play basketball, push me. I love football so much. Loved football. She showed me how to lift weights. She showed me the importance of nutrition. I could not believe the amount of stuff that they gave her as a Division I college athlete, shoes and cool gear. She would get me stuff. I was so excited. Ninth grade came and I played football and basketball, and I loved it. I got to play the last basketball game on the varsity team. I went to so many practices. I would go from freshman practice to JV practice to varsity practice all in one day. Kept my grades up. Same thing for my sophomore year. And then in my junior year, well, after the JV season ended, I'd just be on the varsity team. I loved it. No, I'll end it there. Thank you for your time.